Hey, good morning, everybody. Woo, a chilly morning. Look at Miss Lola. She's ready to take notes and do the homework. My goodness, what's today's case? Well, it's going to be one that's going to shock the shit out of you because it makes absolutely no sense at this time why this prosecutor is going after Aaron Spencer. Let me explain in a nutshell what happened. In July of 2024, he became aware through the grapevine that his, at the time, 13-year-old daughter had been raped by this man on the right of your screen, Michael Fossler. Police were notified. Michael Fossler was arrested and then let out on bond. Okay? On bond. Well, through the grooming process and things that have not come to light yet, because I'm not at all about victim blaming, the daughter, at this time 14, which was in October of 2024, Heather, her mom, heard the dog barking and thought something was going on and realized her daughter was not in her room. They're yelling around the house. They're outside. They can't find her. Well, she had her cell phone with her, and so Aaron got into his vehicle and chased him down. Well, during the chase down, there was a confrontation, and he killed Michael Fossler. There's a difference between killing a motherfucker and cold-blooded murder. The prosecution, their biggest argument is that from the time he left the house to when he fired his weapon, he had minutes and minutes and minutes and minutes, okay? Minutes and lots of time, 20 minutes to call 911. How many cases on this channel have we talked about where a child has been taken and within minutes they're killed? Do you really think that he was going to err on the side of the police, knowing that this man was already out after what he did to his daughter and was also in the process of trying to groom other children? This is one of these you be the judge shows, okay? How would you feel if you were on the jury? What would you do? It's going to be hard to pick a jury because it's a small county. Aaron is running for sheriff. The gag order's been lifted. And there's just already so many people saying, you've got my vote, sheriff. You've got my vote. There's a lot going on here. First off, let's tell everyone good morning and get me some hot cocoa, would you? All right, a lot of you have a lot to say about this, so I'm going to put the link up here in a second. Susan and I spoke about it this morning. Big T and I spoke about it. Magoo was in chat at like 4:30 yesterday afternoon. Poor old Tropicana thought we were having a nighttime live. Lots of people thinking about this. What I'm surprised about is that this story isn't being really heavily covered. I'm talking Fox News, CNN, News Nation did a piece on it, the Daily Wire. I mean, all of the big talking heads. What are they scared of? Are they scared of people taking the law into their own hands? Are they scared of vigilante justice? I don't know. I don't know. It seems like very irresponsible journalism to me. That's their job. That is their job. And we know all they do is get on there and talk about one political party after another, or bitch about Whoopi and Joy Behar over on The View. Who gives a shit about that? We need to know more about people like us. You know what I mean? The backbreakers, the people, the middle class. We need to know what's going on around us. Not with them. Fuck them. That's nothing but puppeteering. So let's go to who does know. And this is Aaron's wife, Heather. Now, she wrote this on July 3rd, after the gag order was lifted. She said, "It has been a hard 8 months, silently fighting battles we were unprepared for." I could imagine. In those early days, we had very limited understanding of the magnitude of what we were facing. Guarantee it. What happened to our child starting in the spring of 2024 when she was 13 was horrifying and traumatic for all who love her. She is a quiet, homeschooled child who at the time spent more days than not helping care for her dying grandpa. Funny thing, well, it's not funny at all, that I like to look at the comments from time to time. Depends on my mood. I did see a few people in different articles and news clips going, "Well, the girl must have been real flirty with him. The girl must have been real flirty and he couldn't help himself." Look at that piece of shit. Look at Michael Fossler. Let me tell you what. The girl is all I'm going to call her. Damn sure was not wanting that 67-year-old piece of shit. And she also, no way, no how, was his first victim. No way. All right, so Heather says it was hard work, and when presented with the opportunity to spend some time in a safe place, around kids her age and stuff like that, I allowed her to take a much needed break on days when we weren't busy to be with friends that were considered our family. Deep in my soul, they were family, and I trusted she was safe, but she wasn't. It took very little exposure for an unknown man who was old enough to be my father to start pursuing my child. The monster was an opportunist and started grooming my 13-year-old daughter via text. In July of 2024, now this is where I got to give everybody a little trigger warning because it gets real heated. And yes, the man with the beard is the girl's daddy, the one that's going to court, going to trial next month for second-degree murder. Okay, July 2024, we were informed by a family member that our now 14-year-old child had confided in her that she had been raped. Immediately, we asked our child what happened, and she explained that this man, who was a stranger to us, had assaulted her multiple times. We let the law run its course, and we were promised along the way that this isn't 20 years ago and they take these things seriously now. All right, let me ask all you great people in here, would that make you feel any better if your child is talking to you, a detective and a rape advocate, and the only assurance they can give you is, "We take these things seriously now around these parts. Not going to have this here." Well, they didn't take it seriously. Lots of failures. Heather goes on to say, while we were happy that he was quickly arrested, we were not privy to the fact that he was released on a low bond with zero supervision. Zero. Zero. Even though we anticipated his release, we thought the pending felony charges and no contact order would be enough to keep him away from our child. We were wrong. We put our daughter into therapy and tried our best to manage her trauma while still caring for my dying father. When we were awakened by our daughter's dog in the middle of the night on October 8th, my first thought was our child was sick. I woke my husband and asked him to check on her. What happened next is burnt into my very being. He called up from her room that she wasn't there. Immediately, all the lights in the house were on. We were calling from her inside the house, then outside. I called our son. I called our niece, the only people who may have known where she had gone. Neither did, so I called 911 immediately. And she did. And she did. There's some people that have a big-ass problem with Heather Spencer, and, well, they can't sit with me. They can't sit with me. As my husband left to go looking for her with no direction in mind, only a prayer of finding her, my sister-in-law then sent us a picture of a Cash App payment for DoorDash. It turns out it was from the predator. He sent one to the girl and to the girl's cousin a day or two prior. In the moment, we realize that she may have been taken, but it's the middle of the night and everything is happening in seconds and every second counts. I tell 911 that this man may be involved, and as I'm speaking, I'm realizing that if he does have her, I'll probably never see her again. What would your first reaction be? Your child is missing. You know the man that was internet stalking her and raped her is out on a very weak-ass bond with no supervision. What would your first thought be? Now he's going to kill her because he knows when he goes to court, the next time he goes to trial, he's going away forever. Forever. He's going away forever. And he knows that she is the witness that the state of Arkansas is depending on to put him behind bars forever. Heather goes on to say, statistics and horror stories race through my mind. My baby, my little girl, gone. All I could do was pray. I hung with 911 and called my mother. I screamed in horror while she prayed Hail Marys. God, please save my baby. My own screams will forever haunt my memory. By God's grace alone, my husband spotted the predator and our child and turned to follow them. Then the predator ran with our child. Thanks to my husband's quick and courageous actions, our child was saved that night. I have no doubt that if it weren't for God and my husband, I would have never seen my child again. Now, I've got to give you some backstory on Aaron Spencer. He is military trained. He is no dummy. I believe he's 82nd Airborne. So he's not somebody that's going to dial 911 like they're ordering Pizza Hut. He's going to get his daughter. The relief of my child being alive was quickly followed by terror as the prosecutor set a preliminary charge at murder one with a $150,000 bond. Going through yet another assault exam with my child at the hospital while trying to find a lawyer for my husband was a nightmare. Those same exams that they do on children, they're bad. They're bad. They have to do them. They have to do them. And she had already been through one. Now she has to go through another. And what really POs me is that Aaron's bond was $150,000. Yes, I get it that they put it at murder one. I think they thought a little too quick on that one, thanks to the sheriff. But the child predator that raped this little girl multiple times had a $50,000 bond. Not cash. Even found a bondsman to get him out. Insane. Navigating criminal charges while also being fully traumatized by the events of the night was difficult. It quickly made its way through social media, and with the support of our community, we attained the very best lawyers, and Aaron was released on bond. At arraignment, they decided to charge my husband with murder too. Okay? So they're already seeing that possibly they themselves, with the high charge of murder one, which in the state of Arkansas is premeditated. So they already lower it because they know they're about to nullify a jury. They already know that they've stuck their foot in the water and they're going to look like a sack full of assholes if they don't follow through with this thing. Okay? But they can't nullify a jury. So we're going to drop it down a notch to murder two. Oh, okay. Well, what's life in prison for someone who's operating under every law in Arkansas? Stand your ground, the castle law, self-defense. He has his daughter. Heather goes on to say, we were no longer able to share our story and were forced to suffer the injustice of all of it in silence. By some other miracle, our case was heard by Arkansas Supreme Court and the gag order was lifted. We are now free to share our story again. My husband didn't ask to be put in a position to save our child. We didn't ask for any of this. An evil man with a long history of predatory behavior targeted our child and was not scared of the consequences. My husband was forced to save his child from someone who should have never been on the streets to begin with. And then there's a link there if you want to contribute to their attorney's fees. It's the givesendgo.com/GDGSG. Now let's look at the gag order when it was lifted. This is from THB11. Talk to me, THB11.
We're learning previously unknown details of a murder case so sensational the judge and prosecutors worried about conducting a fair trial. But today, a majority of the Arkansas Supreme Court basically released those details themselves, saying Aaron Spencer and his lawyers have the right to speak publicly about how the man accused of sexually assaulting his teenage daughter.
Quit saying sexually assaulted. It is sexual torment. She's a little girl. She's a little girl. She's never been to prom, doesn't know how to drive a car, isn't anywhere near college age, hasn't even thought about getting married. He took everything from her in her mind at that age.
Ended up dead last year. Let's recap how we all...
Well, he didn't end up dead. We know what happened.
Got here. Lone Up County deputies arrested Spencer last October, with the sheriff's office saying then only that he killed 67-year-old Michael Fossler after a fight and after he had found him with his teenage daughter. Prosecutors charged Spencer with second-degree murder. Court documents reveal Fossler was facing numerous sexual charges involving Spencer's daughter and had posted bond. Spencer's family took to social media. They started calling him a hero.
And that is something they didn't like. That prosecutor did not like that. Now, my question is, I was talking to Big T about this morning. Who did Aaron Spencer piss off for them to make such a knee-jerk reaction to charge him with first-degree murder, knowing who he killed, knowing that the guy was out, knowing that he was under zero supervision. And what jury in Lone Oak County, Arkansas, is going to send this man up the river without a paddle? Come on. Come on. The sheriff can arrest, but the sheriff can't charge. The sheriff can arrest, but the sheriff can't take it to trial. No, no, no. Hey, Discoms, how are you?
His lawyers saying he did the same thing that any father would have done.
We feel very confident that this community is going to come to Aaron's side because every one of them would have done the same thing for their child or their neighbor's child or a member of their family.
But that lawyer, Aaron Casanelli, made that statement in defiance of the judge in the case. Lone Oak County Circuit Judge Barbara Elmore had put a gag order on the case and sealed almost every document. Spencer and his lawyers appealed that.
Well, Barbara Elmore is a moron. Barbara Elmore, the judge, is a moron. For one, when we know someone is capable of grooming a 13-year-old and raping them, they are what is considered a danger to society. Okay? They are. That's what they're called. They are a danger to society. You don't hit them with a $50,000 bond. Why didn't she make it $50,000 per, horrible thing to say, occurrence? Because it was multiple times this man did horrible things to her.
Today, a strong ruling from the state's high court. The gag order violated Spencer's First Amendment rights, with 3 justices saying they thought the case should have been removed from Judge Elmore's court. That's not going to happen, but the ruling listed new details that we didn't know before. Spencer had discovered his daughter had snuck out. He jumped into his truck.
Spencer learned his daughter snuck out, found Fossler with his daughter in his truck, forced the truck off the road. The 2 men got into a fight. Spencer called 911 and told police he shot Fossler. How was that any different than what we already assumed? How is it any different? This girl's been traumatized. She's in a certain type of therapy for basically PTSD. They're making it sound like, well, she snuck out. She snuck out, not to go play basketball with her friends. This guy is dangerous. Dangerous. And her being the age she is, it could be like an Elizabeth Smart thing where she thought, if I don't get out with him right now, he might kill my whole family. And I'm going to go federal with this, not state, because we know there's a big difference. Federally, we have a right to bear arms, and we have the right to protect ourselves. And we damn sure have the right to protect our children.
And found Fossler with his daughter inside that truck. The opinion from Justice Courtney Ray Hudson said Spencer forced Fossler off the highway that night. That's when they fought, and moments later, Spencer called 911 to say he shot Fossler. Casanelli released a statement praising the ruling and applauding the clear guidelines that it lays out for future gag orders. Justice Hudson writing that gag orders should be a last resort and not a first impulse. Spencer pleaded not guilty last year. He has a pretrial hearing scheduled for August 8th.
Woo! They already went through that, and woo! Mark, thank you so much for the super sticker. Very dangerous. Very dangerous. Let's take a gander at Michael Fossler's charges. We'll go up to here. Case number 43CR24429, filed September 4th of 2024, Lone Oak Circuit, felony Status case closed. Well, it's closed because MF is dead. Okay. I'm just going to call him MF from here out. You can call him MFer if you want. Barbara Elmore. There she is. Okay. There's his attorney. Internet stalking of a child. Internet stalking of a child. Sexual assault, 4th degree. Sexual assault, 4th degree. Sexual indecency with a child. Sexual indecency with a child. Electronic facilitation of child sexual abuse. Pandering or possessing medium depict sexual conduct of a child. Same charge. Pandering or possessing medium depict sexual contact of a child. Number 10. Pandering or possessing medium depict sexual conduct of a child. Here we go again. Pandering. Here we go again. Pandering. Number 13. Pandering. Number 14. Pandering. Number 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Are you getting my drift? Of all the nasty shit he was doing from the spring of 2024 until he went to jail in July of 2024 and got out on a weak bond. No ankle bracelet, no protective order, no keep away. Hell no. No, 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 no. No. So now, the daddy, he's ready for court. He's ready. He's prepared. He is prepared that he could possibly go away for a very long time. He's prepared. But in the meantime, he's running for sheriff. This is from Arkansas NBC.
About me. It's about every parent, every neighbor, every family.
It's the campaign kickoff for an Arkansas sheriff's race everyone is talking about. His name is Aaron Spencer.
Not everyone. You see, the big dogs that should be running with this are not. They are not. And we're talking 24-hour news networks that replay the same shit over and over. Trust me, they've got time for this.
And he's running to be the top lawman of Lonoke County, all while currently fighting murder charges, announcing his campaign in a Facebook post.
Through my own fight for justice, I have seen firsthand the failures in law enforcement.
Spencer is facing second-degree murder charges for the killing of a man he says raped his daughter, according to...
I don't like that term. Killing a man he said raped his daughter. Well, the man was charged with like 31 felonies. Okay? The medical evidence is there.
The man he says raped his daughter. According to court documents, on a night last October, Spencer awoke to his dog barking and found his 13-year-old daughter missing. A hoodie on a stuffed animal placed in her bed. And found her in the trunk of 67-year-old Michael Fossler. After forcing Fossler's vehicle off the road, a confrontation, ending with Spencer shooting and killing Fossler, according to the court documents. And according to court records, Fossler was out on bond after being charged with multiple sex offenses involving a child.
And we went through all of those. And the thing is, there's documents to back them up. They're not privy to the public because they involve a child. But I have a feeling they're pretty spooky.
Lifting a gag order on Spencer's proceedings, a judge writing Fossler's alleged offenses were acts against Spencer's teenage daughter. Spencer not responding to our request for an interview, but his attorney telling NBC News in a statement he was, quote, justified under Arkansas law in taking action to protect his daughter and himself.
They are 100% correct. 100%. And I am not a lawyer. I don't pretend to be one. I'm not as gifted as Lisa K. Ruitz. I'm telling you, there are laws in Arkansas. You can protect yourself. No shit. That's your Second Amendment right. You can protect your home. And you damn sure can protect your children. Now let's go back to what the prosecution is saying. That in the 20 minutes that he was chasing down Michael Fossler, he had every minute to pull over and dial 911. Do you think his brain was working that way? That he's going to give the cops a chance since the legal system had obviously failed him?
I'm the father who acted to protect his daughter when the system failed.
After his video post went viral, with many commenters praising Spencer, his wife launched multiple fundraisers that have since been removed. The campaign's face.
Heather should have never removed any of those fundraisers. Never let the naysayers tell you what you know you need to do. She knows that they have a David and Goliath going on right now. And because people are saying to her, I've seen some of the comments, oh, you just want money now, don't you? Oh, you just want money. Oh, you just want money now. Oh, so now this is a money grab for you. Piss on that. You think these lawyers do shit for free? They don't roll out of bed for $500. Get the hell out of here. Only bums complain about people making money. Fucking bums complain about it.
Spencer, his wife launched multiple fundraisers that have since been removed. The campaign's Facebook page with 15,000 followers now links to a new fundraising page. Spencer posting, "Support from this community has been beyond anything I imagined." The primary is set for March. Candidate filings begin next month. Spencer will likely face off against current Lonoke County Sheriff John Staley.
Look at him. He kind of looks like Ronnie Lawson's blood clot. God. Wow.
Whose department arrested him. NBC News reached out to Staley's office for comment, but did not hear back. The sheriff telling one local paper he couldn't comment on Spencer's case because of the pending trial, but that he'll run again, saying, "Since 2013, I have served as sheriff with a clear mission to protect our citizens and hold those who break."
All right, so here's his mission statement. Sheriff Staley. Since 2013, I have served as sheriff. With a clear mission to protect our citizens. But you're trying to protect a pedophile against a father whose daughter had been kidnapped and previously raped in your county. Hold on. That's his mission statement? That's his mission statement? Did the sheriff tell his deputies, you keep an eye on Michael Fossler since Barbara Elmore went ahead and let him out of jail with 0 conditions? Did he do that to protect the community? No. And you've got some really pissed off people in that county. I'm pissed off and I don't even live there. That mission statement, in my opinion, is rude. Rude to the people you're serving.
Mission to protect our citizens and hold those who break the law accountable. NBC News also reached out to the county prosecutor's office, but have not heard back. A man charged with taking the law into
You're not going to hear from the prosecutors. No, home skillet.
his own hands, now trying to turn the tables and take hold of the office that enforces the law.
We thank you for watching, and remember,
It's insane. It's insane and it's gone too far. Okay, so here is Aaron's, well, I say website, okay, Aaron Spencer for Sheriff at gmail.com. I mean, nothing to really, email him about. Join us as Aaron Spencer kicks off his campaign for Lonoke County Sheriff December 10th at Rolling Hills Country Club in Cabot, Arkansas. Well, that's just coming up, my friends. That's just in a few days. All right. Campaign kickoff. I don't think there's anybody on here that's telling him that he's doing the wrong thing. He said, today I want to take a moment to honor the men and women who answered the call to serve. As a former paratrooper with the 82nd Airborne, I had the privilege of serving alongside some of the bravest people I'll ever know. Those years taught me about sacrifice, responsibility, and what it truly means to serve something bigger than yourself. Yeah, God and country. But today isn't about me. It's about every veteran and every military family who carried the weight of service. Your courage, your resilience, and your continued commitment to this country make our community stronger. To all who served and to the families who served beside them, thank you. Then he says, airborne all the way. Okay, that's him as a paratrooper. All right, that's going to get the jury going. That's him filling out his paperwork to put, oh, who's this? Joe Radke. I'm very skeptical. I'm not saying no or yes. I'm just skeptical on the whole thing. Now, it looks like comments have been removed. That's okay. There's a lot of, you got my vote, brother. You got my vote, brother. And then Spencer for sheriff. Kimberly Dean, thank you. The people that are bitching about the money grab, it's a grift. How do you know if it's a grift? Like you said, Kimberly, nobody knows how much the therapy for the little girl costs. Plus the attorney fees, plus everything else going on. And that's going to be, I agree with Debbie, that's going to be a sheriff that means business. All right. Yep, that's not the one I meant to put up. I apologize. All right. New plea was entered. Let's look at this.
Good evening. We begin tonight with new details in the case of a Lonoke County father who is accused of shooting and killing a man that he believed had victimized his teenage daughter.
Prosecutors in the case of Aaron Spencer released a detailed time.
I mean, I guess that's how the media has to say things. Like, they can't put stuff in concrete, even though we know the truth. It's not what he believes. Michael Fossler was hit with like 31 felonies for what he did to his daughter. It's not a belief. They have the medical evidence. They have all the cell phone data. Quit with he believed like he's crazy.
Timeline of the events that led up to that shooting, and both sides of the case are sharply divided over what did unfold in those early morning hours. Channel 7's Daniela DeHagening has the latest now.
Lonoke County prosecutors say the timeline begins at 1:12 a.m. on October the 8th when Aaron Spencer's wife called 911 to report their teenage daughter missing. Investigators say Spencer immediately left home, searching the surrounding roads. Not long after, prosecutors say Spencer spotted 67-year-old Michael Fossler's truck on Highway 236 with his daughter inside.
Boston just made it in. She said, I'm late, so I'll rewind. Just want to say hello and good morning. Have a great day, everyone. Let me ask Boston. Boston, what would you do if someone kidnapped your child and you went to retrieve your child and get them to safety, and things get heated and you have to use your worst case scenario by ending a predator's life? Would you not be a little ticked off when the corrupt sheriff of the county gives you a first-degree murder charge? Actually, I'm asking everybody in here. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine. You know how pissed a woman would be if the guy said, well, instead of going to get her, I'm just going to call 911 and hope in the next 20 minutes, hour, 6 days, 2 days, Just hope he doesn't murder her, even though he knows that she has to testify against him in court. You know how pissed you'd be? Heartbroken, the whole 9 yards.
Long after, prosecutors say Spencer spotted 67-year-old Michael Fossler's truck on Highway 236 with his daughter inside. Fossler was out on bond at the time, awaiting trial for a previous charge involving the same child.
Involving the same charge, the same child. A previous charge, Michael Fossler. Let me put his picture up. There he is. The charge stems from the 31 felonies that I read off to you all. Against Aaron Spencer's daughter. He's awaiting trial, okay? It's a one-witness trial. And the one witness is Michael Fossler's victim. So he lures her out of the house. What do you think he wanted to do? Do you think he wanted to apologize? Do you think he wanted to take her to buy new clothes for school? No, no, no. Good morning, Sophia. He had every intention of the world of making sure she's not going to witness. Mark my words, my friends. That's what he was looking for.
Investigators say Spencer followed the truck for several miles before forcing it off the road and firing 16 shots, 15 of them striking Fossler, before calling 911 again at 1:34 a.m. The state argues Spencer had a 20-minute window to call authorities before that confrontation unfolded.
Aaron Spencer believed then and believed.
The state is saying he had a 20-minute window to call 911. And then what if they put him on hold? What if they say there's a deputy en route, but he's busy somewhere else? What if they say we only have 2 deputies here right now and one's at the jail? It's a small county. What if? Did he take the law into his own hands? Maybe. Did he do what he needed to do to get his daughter back home and protect her? That's how it looks like to me. And I put the link down. Magoo, I know you're very, very invested in this case. I know Gaelic is. I know Susan is. I know all of you are. I know Big T is. Don't be shy. Grab the link. People get tired of hearing my voice. Faux show.
The state argues Spencer had a 20-minute window to call authorities before that confrontation unfolded.
Aaron Spencer believed then and believes now that he was justified in what he did because his daughter was in grave danger, and I don't think any parent on this earth would think otherwise.
Defense attorney Aaron Casanelli says prosecutors are directing their outrage at the wrong person.
They should be blaming the blameworthy, not the father who had to take action to save his daughter from a pedophile that the state did not control, did not monitor, and released to come back and do it again.
Well, hello, Big T. What are you thinking about this? I know you've been deep diving this morning.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Hey, I say I vote for DT. DT driver.
Oh, what's he going to do?
Texas Ranger, honey.
Woo,
Every man looks good in that hat. Ooh.
Walker, Texas Ranger. My gosh, I used to watch that right before Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. Now, if you were on this jury and you lived in Lone Oak County, Arkansas, what would you say when you got the judge's instructions and you had to go back to the jury room? What would you do?
What would I do? I don't think they would put me on the jury anyway, because I would have looked at the judge and everybody on her level and say, y'all all know you're going to lose your jobs. And that's why you're fighting so hard on this.
Woo, baby. Woo, woo. And I have some other woos to give out. Mark, thank you again for the super sticker. Angel P gave a Crime Lines and Lies membership, and so did Mirror Camp. We must get our umbrellas out.
Yay.
Corey has a really good question. Did MF have a weapon? That is one thing that the prosecution has not released. And let me tell you something. If he was unarmed, they would have already spilled it.
True. He probably was going to strangle her, stab her. Something not so obvious. But
Yeah.
I believe he came back for her specifically. And thank God her daddy is a brave man.
100%.
Thank God.
And she knew. And
Yeah,
she knew. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I keep interrupting you. Go ahead.
I'm sorry too. No, he wasn't thinking about anything about that man just got out. He's got my kid and he's not getting away. And I ain't got time for the police. What is response time? He was on his tail within seconds.
It took him 20 minutes to catch up with them. Now I know some people say that he used his own daughter as basically bait so he could kill him. I don't think that for a minute, because he had from July to October. If he's really a cold-blooded murderer, he knew he was out.
Exactly.
He knew where.
Yeah, because a parent's heart would be immediate. He'd be sitting on them steps waiting for his ass to walk out that courtroom.
Well, and you also have to remember he's 82nd Airborne Paratrooper. He's not the type of dude say, well, you failed me once, system. I guess I'll go ahead and dial 911 and wait for you to go find him. You know what can happen in 20 minutes? You know how many places are around there that he could have hid her out?
No. Yeah, it doesn't take long. I freaked out, and I was in my 20s. And when I found out that a predator kidnapped a child inside a Walmart, under 5 minutes, had the clothes changed and was shaving her hair, had half of it shaved off in the bathroom.
20 minutes. 20 minutes. And thank you, Gaelic, for the super sticker. Dawn Michelle. Oh my goodness. This is like the Acme brick hit me on the head like in Looney Tunes. The dad knew that the mom was calling 911. Did he think she was sitting at home knitting a scarf? She already notified 911. So why should he have to do it too? How many 911 calls do you need in that county?
Exactly. No. Yeah, and Dawn Michelle, you're exactly right. That was the line of I was thinking. Mama got on the phone, Daddy hit the road. And they were partners in it, and I don't blame them. I don't blame them one daggum bit. No.
Go get the baby now. Because we're already living in a world of panic, knowing that freak was out. And in the meantime, they found out that he was also grooming another girl.
Her cousin, right?
Yeah, her cousin,
yeah. Wasn't he a friend of the family?
They actually didn't know him. He was a friend of the family.
Okay. It was something along that line. But yeah, no. I'm going to tell you what, these predators are so damn smart that once they get it in their mind, they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop.
No.
And that man had a plan.
Yep.
And that baby would be dead today. And those parents would be sitting there crying and saying, Why didn't you do something then, Barbara Judge? Why?
You
Yeah.
let him out with $50K.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's
And,
nothing to these monkeys.
and the way the bond system works, his was 5,000, but he only had to put up 500. So I mean, the question of the day is, do you think a jury will convict him? And Don Michelle, you were on it today. He would have much rather gone to prison for murder than as a sexual predator of a child. That's how people like him think. Exactly. Like Polly Klaas. When that guy that killed Polly Klaas, can't even say his name, talking to the detective, and he goes, don't bring up anything of a sexual element, because you know how I'll be treated in jail. Just keep it at murder. Just keep it at murder. They know.
Oh, wow.
They know what's going to happen.
Released and released to come back and do it again nearly immediately.
Her law partner went even further, pushing back on the state's framing of the shooting.
The state's attempt to cast this as an act of vigilantism rather than an obvious act of defense of one's child is ludicrous.
The defense says a pretrial is set for December the 17th. Daniela Dehogany, Channel 7 News.
Well, if you'd like to read,
I like ludicrous. Y'all gonna make me lose my mind.
Up in here. Up in here. DMX. We got the wrong one. Sophia came in. She said, just want to say hi. Love you, Brooks and Big T. Love you too, girlfriend. Chris Hansen had some things to say about this. And I thought it was very interesting because, he did all that to catch a predator stuff about what he thinks is going to happen when they go to trial next month. And there's no such thing as a cheap trial. They cost millions of dollars. Millions. Okay?
Everything costs money. Everything.
Yeah. Some people don't understand that. They think everything is free, but we don't deal with those people. These trials are not cheap, and especially with one of this gravity. Just me. Was he wearing an ankle monitor? Nope. Well, Barbara, the judge, let him out with zero superstition.
Yeah.
I reached out because I saw you on Long Crime. I think that's what it's called, right? Long Crime on YouTube. About this Aaron Spencer case, which I just heard is getting pushed. And it's such a bummer because the trial is getting pushed a few months.
Right. So it was originally, I think, as of this taping, tomorrow was supposed to be the pretrial hearings.
Yeah.
And it's been pushed until December.
I know.
With a January trial.
Why?
Well, because I think there are a lot of motions.
Money. And they don't like to do trials in December. We have learned that just from doing this show. They don't like to do December trials.
Too many vacations.
There are discussions about plea agreements. The prosecution's got a tough case here. You got a father charged with second-degree murder in a case where the victim was criminally prosecuted for sexually assaulting and preying upon and grooming his daughter from the age of 13 to 14. And so, as much as I can look into that case and see what was going on there, and that had been sealed earlier on, so not everybody saw that, but there were 43 counts involved with the guy who was killed, charged against the guy who was killed, involving the sexual assault and grooming of his daughter.
So
if the DA in Lonoke County was smart when he was making the charges in July, grooming is a federal offense. He should have made it federal, and then Homeland Security would have been on his ass, as opposed to Mr. Sheriff that keeps everyone safe, as in pedophiles, and then they would have had more help than Barney Fife keeping eyes on him. Don't you agree, Big T?
Yeah. Federal, they wouldn't be playing. And Miss Judge Barbara would be doing things a lot different.
Mhm.
She makes me mad. I'm sorry. She just needs to excuse herself just because she's ignorant.
No, I'm tired of these judges. I really am. I expect sheriffs to be lazy. I do. It just goes with the territory.
Right.
Tell you what, these damn judges, you got one job, and that's to judge. When your judgment is horrible, you don't get to judge anymore.
You're saying it's sealed because I'm not sure.
It's open now. It's
okay.
open,
So
but
what
it
are
was-
the details there? How did they have a connection or a relationship?
the dead guy?
I can't remember, Flossom or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, but the guy who Aaron Spencer eventually killed
Right.
to protect his daughter.
Right. Who took her that night of the killing.
The kidnapper, the disgusting
He was
man.
the boyfriend of a female family friend of the girl's mom and dad.
Okay.
So Aaron Spencer and his wife are living
Had a
with their
family
daughter.
friend.
Right. They had a family friend whose boyfriend
Was this guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Flosser.
Okay.
And so he, turns out, was contacting the daughter,
Who was 13 at
13
the time.
at the time it started, and he was able to convince her and cajole her into having a sexual relationship. He gets caught. They report him to authorities, and he gets prosecuted. He's not.
He gets caught because she told other people this is what he's been doing to her.
Well, she was smart to it.
Not supposed to be around or contacting, obviously, this girl. But it continues. And somehow, some way, that night, they hear the dog barking. They look for the girl's gone. The father suspects immediately that this guy is involved, and he calls into police, according to the court documents I've seen that were just unsealed in June of this year. And he said, you know, you need to go to this address, which is the address where this guy lived. And before they could get involved, he jumps in his car and apparently sees the pickup truck with his daughter in it and the guy. And depending on whose story you believe, there's a chase, an accident. The guy gets out. Aaron Spencer's armed. He's got 15 bullets in a clip of his Glock. And there's a tussle, and he ends up shooting
One in the chamber.
the guy.
15 in the Glock and 1 in the chamber. You're exactly right, Big T. And you think that he, if it wasn't for the tussle and Michael Fossler, MF, not just telling her get out and run and him taking off, then he would let the police take care of it. He wanted his daughter.
Well, I do like what he said. It says that Michael Fossler got all 15 rounds except for one. And I tell you what happens when you run out of bullets and you're still pissed? You beat the shit out of him with the gun.
Start beating some ass is what you do. Oh, Kat is back. She had to take Tigger to the vet. Hey, Kat, what happened with Tigger? Is Tigger okay? Her cat Tigger has been throwing up everything, even water.
Oh, no. Has it got parvo or? That's not good. I hope Tigger's okay, baby.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Tigger's the quiet one.
But Chip isn't happy because Kat's having to give all her attention to Tigger.
Oh, I know. Yes, he's a attention whore, and rightfully so.
They know their place, and everyone else better know it. Paper Slut said a female judge letting male serial essayers out on the streets so they can feel good about themselves among their social groups is bizarre. We have time and time again. We have seen it in Stillwater, Oklahoma, where a judge let a rapist,
Wow.
supposed to spend 80 years in jail, decided to charge him as a juvenile and give him counseling. Now, I'm thinking that a woman, and I'm talking about women, I'm talking about my own gender here, okay? My own gender.
Mine too.
When they pander to social norms, they have failed their own children, their own grandchildren, their nieces, their nephews.
Yeah. I wonder if they even have their own children.
Well, I mean,
They're career driven. You don't know. You never know.
No, well, look at her career now. You think anyone's going to vote for her in the next election? These people are pissed. Well, I know who's not pissed, and that's Boy Mama. You know why? Because today's her birthday. December baby. Yes. And I agree with Susan. It would be totally different if it was the judge's granddaughter, which obviously she wouldn't be looking over the case. It's pretty damn disgusting that anyone, man or woman, would think that this is safe for their own society, for where they live, where they see kids getting off the school bus, where they see kids riding their bikes, where they see kids playing basketball, when they see kids at the tennis court. They see these things. They know.
Exactly right. Yes, Brooks. And it makes you wonder, how much, I mean, this is a small town. We're talking sheriffs, we're talking about counties. This is small. So these little felons, horrible people that shouldn't really be on this earth. How? Grooming this one and that one. These are only 2 little children they're talking about. There's more. There's a hell of a lot more.
Well, of course there is. He's 67 years old. He didn't just wake up at 66 and think, I'm going to start grooming children. He's been doing this for a long time.
And how many have fell in the circle of these judges, these sheriffs, these deputies, nurses, doctors, lawyers, their children? They don't think about that. All they thinking about is their career in the next case.
Well, they're not doing a good job because our biggest systematic failure is judges in this country. That's the big one. Jeannie said Elmore's have been Lonoke era for many, many years. Corruption. I knew it. I knew it. So when they go to church or they go to the local VFW for campaigning and they see all these children around, they are A-OK to let predators back on the street. And I tell you what, her judging record, she'll put someone away for 15 years for a bag of weed, but she has zero problem with a sexual predator. That tells me all I need to know about that bitch.
Somebody needs to cut that black robe right off of her.
That's what I'm talking about, girlfriend.
The pickup truck with his daughter in it and the guy. And depending on whose story you believe, there's a chase, an accident. The guy gets out. Aaron Spencer's armed. He's got 15 bullets in a clip of his Glock. And there's a tussle, and he ends up shooting the guy multiple times, and he dies. rescues the daughter. And then, the police show up. He calls 911, gives his version of events, and he's taken into custody but released pending investigation. Ultimately, he's charged with second-degree murder. And I think they have a very difficult case. I cannot imagine a jury in that county of Arkansas convicting a man whose daughter was sexually assaulted repeatedly by a guy whose father takes his action. I don't see any set of circumstances where this leads to a conviction. So I can only imagine, without being in the meetings and having had deep conversations with anybody involved, that there's probably talk of a plea, avoiding a trial. And I'm sure Aaron Spencer's lawyers are saying, hey, we'll take it to trial. Good luck.
Yeah.
And that is what they're saying. Jeannie, she said, I'm 57, grew up there and had Elmore classmates. There you go. Paper Slut said, not to be political, but it's very, very, very much a socialist thing. You're not being political. You're putting the writing on the wall, my dude. You're putting the writing on the wall, my dude. Because there are people that are afraid to admit that they were wrong about the difference between the law and an orderly society.
I always said they skipped the part of common sense. They want to law it to death and use no common sense.
Mm-hmm. Well,
no moral.
For me, if somebody walked into my courtroom and I'd already seen them 14, 15, 16, 72 times, I'd be like, hey, man, looks like I've slapped you on the wrist enough. Looks like you got a new house here in the pokey. I can't let you back out because you cannot be reformed. How many times does a judge have to see the same person doing the same shit, but worse every time until they get a clue and realize that we can't let that person into what's called an orderly society?
Yep.
Some would call it a polite society. But when do they differentiate between keeping the law and order? They know the law and they know how to skate around it. They're good at that shit. They're really good at that shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We'll defend this
lots
man,
of practice.
he's going to walk.
Now, there's a lot of people chatter online with a lot of the law tubers that I love to follow that are talking about the judge. That the judge apparently, there's a lot of police.
It's a small town.
And the man who was shot dead has a little bit of a police connection, no? Wasn't he a former?
I have heard that, and I don't.
Okay, before we get to that, let's say, Big T, do you think Michael Fossler might have had some friends in high places?
His hands in some pockets. I was kind of leaning that way, and I was surprised she said that. I was kind of leaning that way, but I don't want to, put the cart before the horse.
I got you. But when the air is thick, you got to take a deep breath, and this is a deep breath case.
Tell me about it.
And I'm shocked to shit that every media station in the country is not talking about this.
They don't want to touch this. They don't want to touch this. And I hope they do. I want somebody to get some kahunas and do it. Grab it and run with it. Because I'm going to tell you, that law firm that's taken on Mr. Spencer's case, it's just them two. I'm like, I wish they had a team. They need a big team. There's some brave folk, I tell you. There's some brave folk.
They sure are. They
need an OJ team, okay?
Mm-hmm.
They need somebody who really can, just really hammer these monkeys down. Oh, but I'm surprised what she said, and I want to hear what they have to say.
No, I think she stated the obvious. I think she stated the obvious, and so is paper slut. It's a new thing in this country. We're seeing it in other states. We're seeing it in New York, Illinois, California. The rehabilitative reform movement. We have people that commit horrible crimes, and they get out on no bail.
So how many times are they going to do a math equation, okay, and get the same damn answer every damn time? When are they going to change something?
Mhm.
When are they going to decide they're getting the wrong answer?
Well, I guess they think that the way to solve this problem is to make Aaron out to be a murderer, and they're going to make Michael Fossler out to be a murderer. That's what they're trying to do.
That's disgusting. That
And
is so horrific.
They picked the wrong county and they picked the wrong state to pull their bullshit.
I'm praying.
And the man who was shot dead has a little bit of a police connection. No, wasn't he a former?
I have heard that, and I don't know that to be. I don't know that to be wrong, and I don't know that to be true.
I'm pretty sure he was a former police.
I ran his background. One of the sponsors of my podcast is Truth Finder.
Okay.
And it's a service that allows you to find out background.
Oh, I'm going to need to check them out.
Check it out.
I've got a lot of trolls on my back.
It's a good service. So anyway, in preparation to come chat with you, I took a look at it, and aside for some.
What'd you find about me?
I haven't looked at you yet.
Oh, okay. I thought that's what you looked.
No,
I'm like, oh God, what'd you find?
Look me up.
It's not about her.
I know, she's joking. Chris Hansen does amazing work. If you meet him in person, it was an off day. He's a very, very rude individual. That's okay though. I think in his line of work, he probably has a lot of things. Or as my friend Gaelic says, tings on his mind. A lot of things on his chest.
On my back.
It's a good service. So anyway, in preparation to come chat with you, I took a look at it, and aside for some.
What'd you find about me?
I haven't looked at you yet.
Oh, okay. I thought that's what you looked.
No,
I'm like, oh God, what'd you find?
We're looking at the guy in that case, and he had some touches with the law, but mostly traffic stuff and minor stuff, and nothing that.
With the man who was killed.
Yeah.
But you didn't find the connection because I guess this is where rumors can come in, but I'm pretty
I
sure.
saw someplace in the research that he had been involved with law enforcement, but I haven't seen anything that indicated it had any impact on this case.
So this is where, and this is interesting. Do you find a lot that these kinds of cases could get a little bit, they can kind of come down to like pro-police or anti-police when it comes to the reporting of it? In this,
I think this is pro-parent. I mean,
for sure.
And again, I don't know that this is.
Let's talk about that.
Okay, because I'm going to tell you what, he's just skipping around it and trying to make it more interesting than ever. Yes, people are going to have both opinions.
I am pro-police, but I'm also pro-parent, and I would be pro-police in this.
Mm-hmm.
I always say I back the blue, but it doesn't mean I back the blue no matter who. I would be pro-police, very pro-DA, very pro-judge. Had they, it would have never gotten to a judge, had they just let the old boy go home and maybe put Aaron in the hospital for a couple of days to make sure he's, mentally fit, and then go from there. I mean, who in this chat, we have 103 people. We better have 103 likes. Who in this chat is going to cry themselves to sleep because a ped got rained out? Not me. Not me.
And if Aaron ends up going to jail, I want to know what his, how much to put in his little kitty. Because I will keep him alive as long as I can. I mean, that poor man. Yeah.
They're all going through a lot. They're all going to need some sort of therapy. Heather, Aaron, their son and obviously their daughter. This has changed their life. This has
Yeah.
taken their life off the train track to wherever. They didn't plan. They didn't plan for their daughter to be victimized in such a brutal way. They didn't plan for the predator to be let out of jail without any monitoring. They didn't plan for their daughter to go back out with him, virtually kidnapped. They didn't plan for when Heather called 911 for the police to basically take a report over the phone and not get off their asses and go out and find out what was going on. They didn't plan for all this in the 20 minutes that ended MF's life. They didn't plan for any of this.
No, they sure didn't. This is one thing you don't wake up and pray for. No, you spend most of your life praying against it.
Yeah.
God, just give us a break. And this is the thing too. Why couldn't the defense find a civil law against them?
The defense? Well, you can't sue a dead person. I mean, are you
No,
saying?
no. I'm talking about, the law enforcement there.
Well, I mean, civil is usually monetary. I mean, I could see the defense if Michael Fossler had survived suing him for everything. I mean, down to his toenails. But with him being dead, I don't see any sort of civil education. And if Aaron was actually the cold-blooded killer that they say he is, he would have hunted him down once he was let out on bond with no supervision in July.
I don't know that there are many people on the police department which investigated this case who would agree with the charges. I mean, when I saw the chief law enforcement officer in that area speak earlier on in the process, he said, look, this is up to the prosecutor's office. We investigated a homicide, which is one human killing another human. We brought the facts to the prosecutor, and I'm not going to take a side on this. You all figured it out. And that's what they did, charge.
And he's absolutely right. We did the investigation. We turned over our file to the DA's office, and they made this decision to protect the predator. That was their decision.
There's a lot of work to do, huh?
Yep.
From a second-degree murder. Now, I don't know what the politics are in that town, but I can tell you in just about every city in America, every county in America, you got a guy who kills a man who assaulted the child, and there were criminal charges pending in that case. What was he doing out on $50,000 bond? A jury in America is going to convict him, is my prediction.
Also, there's nothing that you can tell me that would ever keep me from, killing someone that's trying to take my kid. Sorry, I'm just putting it out there. I'm not trying to, put myself.
I mean, maybe the prosecutor's saying it's a question of fact for a judge or jury. We're going to take it and let the chips fall where they may.
You can't put a parent in that situation and expect them to sit back and wait for cops.
I'm in agreement with you. But, unless they know something about the case that I've not seen or I don't know, but I think it's pretty much been out there. And ever since they removed the gag order on the thing this past June.
Yeah.
I mean, the case is all out there. You can read all about it.
Yeah. I can't imagine any jury with any sense of a heart would say, no, this guy needs to go to prison for. And I'm curious I just hope it's not going to turn into one of those kinds of, in the Karen Reed situation where it's back the blue verse,
I don't think you're going to see that here.
I hope not.
This is a whole different deal. I mean, this is a guy who had been criminally prosecuted, who defied, an agreement with the court, went after a child, and shouldn't have been within a mile.
Yeah, he broke the law 2 times. Right. I mean, he broke the law so many times. I mean, he did bad things and then did it again 3 times. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
And he was in his 60s, no.
46 times, girlfriend. 46 times.
Older.
Yeah, 67
gross.
years old. Yeah.
Was he a parent?
I don't know.
Ew.
I didn't see anything.
Yeah.
About it. Yeah.
I don't understand this like this kind of I mean, this is like a mental, I guess we just don't understand that. Like, if you don't have that
if
kind
you don't
of,
have it, how are you going to understand it? You know, it's I don't understand it either. And I ask and I beg these guys, tell me what was going on in your mind. What made you think this was okay? And in 21 years of asking that question, I think I've gotten close to understanding some of the cases, but I just don't understand, and probably never will, how somebody could go through with that. You know, how you get that attraction to a child. I just don't understand it. I probably never will.
I don't think anyone could understand it. It's not understandable.
It's not even perceivable to even pop into your brain.
No, I can't fathom it. How can anyone have any sort of hormones, pheromones, anything like that go off? I know that there is a college in California right now that's backed heavily by a very important donor that says it's a mental illness and needs to be treated as such. Hell, it does.
Yep. Make them keep sitting down.
Hell, it does. Sue said, I hope Aaron makes sheriff and can clean out the folks hiding the bad actors and law enforcement there. Well, I totally get what you're saying. I'm on the seesaw, though. I am on the seesaw. I don't know if I'm up or down. So if the sheriff hadn't turned over everything they got from the scene, then he would be in jeopardy of doing the wrong thing. I honestly think what's gotten to this DA's hands, somebody was greasing somebody's palms, and he made sure. He has even promised MF's family that there will be justice for their pedo relative. Are you serious? That is not a conversation I would have. I'd be like, look, it was going to go one way or another. It shouldn't have turned out this way. But I mean, either way, he was going to be in jail for the rest of his natural life. Okay?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the only major station, if you want to call it that, that's on it is News Nation. Again, where's all the big wigs? Where's the Today Show? Where's Good Morning America? Where's CBS This Morning? Where's PBS? Where's CNN? Where's MSNBC? Where's Fox? They love shit like this. Where's the Daily Wire? Where are they? I mean, this is something that they should all be talking about. I have a feeling that they have producers that say, we can't talk about this because then we're going to have a rash of people taking the law into their own hands.
It's probably taboo.
The man down, ran his vehicle off the road, and then shot him dead in cold blood. Would he get your vote? This is not a parlor game. This actually happened a year ago in Arkansas. On that night, Aaron Spencer was desperately looking for his 14-year-old daughter. Police said that she had been stalked repeatedly and raped at 13 by a 67-year-old man named Michael Fossler. And that night, his daughter was missing. When the girl's father spotted the suspect driving down a dirt road with his daughter in Fossler's front seat, he took off after him, understandably. That driver had more than 24 stalking and sex crime charges pending.
More than 24, over 3, Baishfield, over 3.
Yeah.
Involving both the child in his truck and another girl. Somehow, Michael Fossler was out and about that night because he was free on a mere $50,000 bond that he had no trouble posting, and it seems he had no trouble violating a no-contact order either.
Now, what I want to know is when this trial goes down next month, and I have a feeling it will. I don't know if it's going to be televised. I don't know. Are they going to release the text messages from Michael Fossler to his victim? Because we saw charge after charge after charge after charge after charge after charge pandering using the phone. Now, those wouldn't be charges if he just said, Glad you're doing okay, sweetie. Glad you're doing good in school. He wouldn't have all those charges unless he was saying something totally perverted to her.
Yeah.
And so,
If it's not going to be totally transparent about what led up to his murder or his killing, I don't want to say murder, between the spring of 2024 till October of 2024, then it's not a fair trial.
police say the girl's dad, Aaron Spencer, ran him off the road and shot him dead and got his daughter. That dad himself is now free
You know where
on
it says
bond
ran him off the
and
road?
campaigning.
Yeah.
He didn't run him off the road. He plowed his ass off the road. And I don't blame him.
Some would call it a clipping. Some would say that he rammed right into the back of him. Stay Tiger said, should this personal experience of the family have any bearing on his run for sheriff or no? If so, where is the line between his job and himself? That's an interesting question and an interesting thought. A lot of people run for sheriff or get into police work due to personal experiences. And a lot of people become attorneys for it too.
Yeah.
They have found some failure in the system and they think, well, you know what? If you can't beat them, join them. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to clean it up. And that's the truth. A lot do. We have a sheriff here that was a family member, was a victim of a crime. He didn't like the way things went. And guess what? He ran for sheriff. But it is a very interesting thought. And that's going to be up for the voters. What do you think, Big T?
Yeah. I mean, of course, this man is a hero to a lot of us. And I would love to see change, because obviously I think that's the only thing I'm screaming is, God, please, somebody change something, because the math equation is not adding up to where it should be. You're giving too much to pedophiles, too much. Several times, he's not going to change. I mean, it angers me.
It angers me too. And in my opinion, which is worth as much as a fart in a Walmart sack,
You come to me.
I'm telling you, girl,
your opinions.
taking the law in his own hands would have been confronting him when he got out on bond.
Mm-hmm.
When his daughter was in his truck and in his custody, that totally changes the entire scenario. But again, Stay Tiger, I see what you're saying. It's very hard to find somebody that wants to work in that type of danger with that little of pay unless they have a certain passion, one way or another.
Yeah, when you go over to that desert and you're getting shot at every day, yeah, it happens. Yeah, this man is like, I've dealt with worse. And I don't blame him.
And I have a feeling, well, I don't have a feeling, it's just from articles I've read, if they're telling me the truth, they would love to plead this out. They would love to plead this out at this point. But when his attorneys are like, no, we're going to go to trial. We want him totally acquitted. We don't want him answering for shit. And Sue has another great point. These children, I sound like Whitney Houston. I believe the children are our future. They are.
Yes.
So you want all of these damaged children out in the world? No. You keep harm away from them. They can't do it themselves.
Keep them children as long as possible. I don't care how poor they are.
And when they said to Heather and Aaron, this isn't 20 years ago, holy shit, things were that different in 2005 in that county. We take this stuff seriously now. Okay, but the judge doesn't, because the judge let him out on a ridiculously low bond.
Yes, that just that's wow. I'm gonna be like just me. You don't want to know what's going through my mind.
Mm-hmm.
That's
You
his
really
campaign picture.
don't.
He's campaigning to become the new sheriff, despite a looming second-degree murder trial this coming January. But in his video announcement, he says it is not about revenge against the sheriff who arrested him.
This campaign isn't about me. It's about every parent, every neighbor, every family who deserves to feel safe in their homes and safe in their community. It's about restoring trust, where neighbors know law enforcement is on their side, and families know that they will not be left alone in a moment of need.
So
I'll tell you
next
what,
March,
I can marry him.
Aaron Spencer is going to stand in the Republican primary for sheriff of Lone Oak County in Arkansas. He threw his hat in the ring just last week. And while he has pleaded not guilty to the murder count, he's not exactly running away from what happened the night of October 8th, 2024. The incumbent sheriff, John Staley, tells News Nation, and I quote, "My motto has been and will continue to be, do what's right, not what's easy. Doing what's right isn't always popular." And I cannot wait to hear my next guest and her take on all of this, because Tarlika Nunes Navarro is a former judge. She's also a former prosecutor and criminal defense attorney who's now the dean of the St. Thomas University College of Law. Judge, so good to have you. What is your first impression of Aaron Spencer's case?
Actually, when you think it just can't get any weirder and weirder, every time I see you, we have another case that we're shocked at. It's just a man that is defending his daughter, goes out, finds his daughter in a truck with a sexual predator, rams him, shoots him, kills him, is on trial for murder, will be tried in January, and at the same time is running for sheriff. It's almost mind-blowing. And as a defense attorney, it's crazy, because when I put my defense attorney hat on and I think about, possible venue relocation, this is not good for him, because, the community is going to know him. They're going to recognize him. The voir dire is going to last longer. You're not going to find jurors who are going to be unbiased, and it's going to be good for the prosecution when their cases move to another venue. So as a defense attorney, this is not a good idea.
I have not heard the defense wants to move it to another county. Have you, Big T?
No, and I don't agree with her. And the statements that she made is every reason why I think they're going to back him up. I think the community is going to back him up if they have any sense. I really think everything she said, she's like, when I put my defense hat on, I think this is not a good look for him. I think it's the perfect look, because you know why? She's still thinking in the past. This is 2025. Yeah, going on 2026. There has got to be a change.
Well, the change has been made, and times haven't changed, but people have changed, because if this happened in 1980, nobody would be talking about it. It would have been done and over. Hey, you protected your daughter. The county put him in a pine box and cremated him. People are sick of the head petting shit. We're sick of it.
The catch and the release. The catch and the release. Oh, he paid his dues. No, he didn't pay shit yet. He ain't paid nothing but money. No. You can't buy everything. Money does not fix everything. And just with Mr. Falsler, yeah, It didn't fix it, did it? No, Somebody had to stand up and take action. Somebody had to stand up for their child because the law didn't. That child would have been dead. There's no doubt in my mind. You can't not change my mind. That child would have been dead.
There was a case in Louisiana before 9/11 when people could freely walk in and out of the airport, use payphones, carry weapons, bags unchecked. And a young man was coming, actually, the young man was already back, but his karate teacher was coming back through the airport. They had found him in Baltimore, and the dad totally premeditated it. He didn't want to put his son through a trial. He didn't want to go through one. He was on the payphone, and he turned around and he shot him. Well, it was premeditated. It was first degree for a lot of reasons. Well, they went ahead and they put him on trial, and no jury would convict him. Not one member. They said, give him therapy, and that's it. And he did this on a live broadcast when the news were watching. He was making his point. But they're not going to touch this one. No siree, Bob.
Well, so I'm looking ahead to that trial. And if there were ever a trial where I could, in the crystal ball, see a case for jury nullification, it's this one. And for those who are new to this program or new to true crime, jury nullification is when a jury looks at the guy and says, yeah, he did it, but I ain't going to convict him. That's what I foresee likely happening in this case. And then I want to transfer that to the actual campaign, because if the notion out there is any parent would do the same thing, could this actually help him win? Like the campaign.
Of course. I mean, name recognition, getting out there, all of this new defendants become micro celebrities. We're seeing more and more of it, just like your previous case with Luigi. We're seeing it time and time again. Of course, it's going to help his campaign, but is it going to help his murder charge? No, like I said. And jury nullification, judges don't like it. We don't like to talk about it. We don't like to encourage it. We have to have rule of law. We have to have accountability in our system. If we all go out there and we take the law into our own hands, it's going to cause a breakdown in our judicial system.
So quick last answer.
I don't agree with her at all. It's going to cause a breakdown in our judicial system. Well, no. What has caused the breakdown in the judicial system is Barbara Elmore letting MF out on a very low bond with no monitoring. Another breakdown in the judicial system in that county is charging Aaron with first-degree murder and then dropping it to second degree and trying to get him to take any plea that he will. At this point, they would give him a $50 fine and jaywalking. But at this point, they want to make their point that he had every right to rescue his daughter.
Yes. I'm so hoping. And, maybe Judge Elmore is just biding the time to get the people to adjust. I don't know her, but I don't like what she's done so far.
She hasn't done shit. No. I don't think these judges pay attention to what's in front of them. I think they look at their computer screen and just go, okay, this sounds good for today. And it's time to order Subway. That's really what to me.
Oops. Hold on. Oh.
Now I'm going to play devil's advocate with all of you. Had this story broken and we find out that the girl had gotten out, which we know she did, with the ped, and the father stayed at home waiting on 911, how many of you or anyone that watches this case, or any case for that matter, wouldn't have said, Well, why didn't the dad go after him? Why, if it was me, I'd have grabbed my car keys, I'd have grabbed my gun, I'd have grabbed a baseball bat, I'd have grabbed anything, and I'd have been after him to get my daughter. I promise everybody would say that. They wouldn't sit back and go, well, I just decided to wait on 911 and, the deputy to go find him and hopefully she's alive. No, nobody would say that. And no God-fearing American man would say, oh yeah, I just would have sat at home. Big T, could you imagine your husband?
Oh, hell no. No. My daughter had a boyfriend that just overstepped the line. And that boy came knocking at the door, and thank God I was home. And he's like, well, I'd like to shake your husband's hand. I said, honey, that man wants to kill you. You better leave and don't ever come back here again. He left because he knew, yeah, you mess with my daughter one more time and it's going to be your last.
That's what I'm talking about. Plead the Fifth said exactly. My dude would be on it. I'm going to bring your ass back. I'm going to go get my daughter right now.
Yep.
I mean, has anybody, let's just say that there has no pedophile attached to this. Could you imagine the window's open, your child is gone, they snuck out. Would you not go look for them? Of course you do. Of course you do.
Yes, a child has a right to feel safe and free in their own room and doing what 13-year-old girls does. Dream about being, and with the cutest boy at school. Not with no nasty ass 67-year-old man. But this man is showing her attention somehow. They're just disgusting like that. And
Walking Dead said my husband would be furious.
Oh gosh. Yes. Has anybody ever seen their husband get so furious that they are like sweating and then you smell them and they stink? My husband gets that mad. I was like, oh my God, dude. Ooh, yes. He gets enraged. Yes. Like the guy that was, wanting to date my daughter and wanted to shake his hand. Oh, yes. Yes. That's what I told him.
Our society has demasculated men, and they don't want women around anymore. It's a really messed up thing, and I think it's all the media. I don't think it's Walking Dead. I don't think it's Sue. I don't think it's Plead the Fifth. I don't think it's Big T. I think it's what's being fed to us through our devices.
We don't like to encourage
unfortunately, I believe that.
We have to have accountability in our system. If we all go out there and we take the law into our own hands, it's going to cause a breakdown in our judicial system.
So quick last answer here, but I got to ask it. If he prevails as sheriff and he prevails in his murder case through a not guilty plea or jury nullification, if that's the case, what does that say about, implementing justice when he himself extrajudicially committed this murder allegedly now, but let's just sort of foresee that?
Well, if he is acquitted of this crime, then the system is essentially saying that he did not commit this crime, or the jury is saying, yes, the facts are there, but we are not going to commit him because we don't believe that the law should be upheld here. So then If that is the case, then the law is doing what the law is supposed to do. And the jurors, his peers, are acquitting him. And so he could realistically, yes, then run for sheriff, but then he would have to hold other people accountable. And if he's
And he will, idiot. He will.
not really being held accountable for the crime that he has committed, can he really be a sheriff? And is that what we really want for our sheriffs? I don't know.
You know, as much as you say judges hate to hear about jury nullification, I think a lot of our viewers are kind of like hoping for it in this case, because I can hear them. I can hear them all through the screen right now saying, I'd have done it. And I got to be honest with you, Judge, I think I would have done it too if that was my baby in that car. Thank you for having this philosophical and, you know, extraordinarily important jurisprudential conversation.
Her and her TV teeth, please.
Yeah,
No.
stupid conversation. But I mean, each side has to be heard. Okay, each side has to be heard. That's the truth.
True. But if she didn't have that makeup on, her ass wouldn't be up there saying that stupid shit anyway.
That's true, baby. That's true. Dawn Michelle, she's on it today. A crime of passion is exactly that. Under normal circumstances, he would not do the same thing to someone. No, he wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
No. If his daughter was out of the house and he caught her in the driveway with her friends and they were doing
or a teenage boy.
Yeah, no.
He wouldn't have shot him.
And this is not the only dad that's on trial. There's one in Georgia right now, too, where his daughter was talking to a guy that came from Florence, Kentucky, and she thought he was 14, and then he got her out of the house. Hell, he looks 12, but hey, so be it. And yeah, he's in a heap of trouble, too. So where's the fine line between making sure, because I mean, everyone says, I shouldn't say everyone, here that I know of. On one hand, we hear we need more social workers and less police. We hear
it takes them longer. Are you kidding me? It takes them longer. Yeah. They have to go through so many hoops and everything. Yeah, this is all I know is they're talking about that man had 20 minutes to stop that vehicle. Why would you stop? Why would you stop? Was there a policeman in sight? It was 1:13 in the morning. Huh? 1:13 in the morning. How many people were on shift that night? No. And by the time he chased him down, it was 20 minutes. Yes, he unloaded the clip and then he beat him to death with it. I mean, what are you supposed to do when you run out of bullets? That was a joke, but that was a bad joke. I'm sorry. But still, no. It took him 20 minutes to run him down, to catch up to him. The police are probably going, okay, well, and how far did he go in that 20 minutes? And how fast was that dude going, Mr. MF?
Things we don't know. And I mean, I wouldn't have any issue with them just go ahead and put not just little bits and pieces here, because I believe Heather's telling the truth 100%, because I mean, everything adds up. I believe Aaron's telling the truth. What is the DA holding back when they say things like, we're not going to try this using the media? Well, you don't have to. You don't have to. You know, you can right now.
What?
But
are the bridges not that big enough? What
I mean,
of?
It's Arkansas. Their prisons are way big enough. What's going to happen? And they probably have already done it. Arkansas does use the Alford plea quite often when they want something off the table. He can take the plea, not admit guilt, and go on with his life. I have a feeling, considering what we've seen for the last year and a couple of months, that he's going to say, no, we're going to go to trial, because he seems like a person that's going to stand his ground, no pun intended. And if he's got to do jail time, he does jail time, because the appellate court, because I know there's been misdeeds. I know there's been misdeeds between the judge and the DA. They will probably exonerate him. It's happened before.
I'm praying. And, you know, Brooks, you're the one that would know, not me. And
I'm not saying I know. I'm just taking some uneducated guesses.
yeah, I know. They're really good ones, too. I you know, but I'm just responding off of my child, my daughter, 13 years old, and that nasty MFer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all you got to say to me. And I'm going to tell you, them police would have not gotten that man. Later, yeah. But that baby had been dead. Yeah. He had one intention. And he thought he probably was going to, you know, defer them away from Mr. Spencer's house by talking to, you know, other girls and such. I'm going to tell you what, this man saved the little girls of that county.
Oh, yes. What a great way to put it. He saved the other children of the county. And if he has to go down for it, he's prepared to do it. He's already said that. He already said he's not going to take it back, because he knows that that man was out to kill his daughter, because he knew he was going to trial, and he already knew the forensic evidence, the medical evidence that was going to be put out. He knew that he was going to go to jail, which, you know, 3 hots and a cot didn't bother him. But the treatment he would get from the other prisoners was not something his old crusty ass could deal with. That is such a great point, Michelle. Big T, sorry.
That's okay. Everybody knows. It's all right. I'm nobody important. It's okay.
Well, I just did. Yeah, some people don't like their government name put out. So anyway, speaking of another case that's coming up, we're going to talk about it here in an hour. Rebecca Park. Wow. Depravity, depravity, gruesome, torture. If you haven't had lunch, you might want to hold off on it, or I think it's better to do on a empty stomach. So who's going to be back here in an hour?
Grab some water. Grab some water, some coffee, a Snickers. Don't eat a whole lot.
Okay. All right. So I'll see you guys back here in 1 hour. Thank you for being here, because it's not a popular case, but it's a very, very important case. And thank you so much, Big T. Dawn, thank you, Dawn, for all your amazing comments. Sue, thank you, Tropicana, for being here last night. You and Magoo were just chatting back and forth. And if it's okay with you guys, I'm going to continue keeping up on this case with Aaron Spencer and what he did to protect his daughter. You guys are the absolute best, and I love you guys for being here for all the right reasons.